Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 106. And this is Altai, joined once again by...
Omer.
Yep, and that is it.
We are ready to rock. We have a great podcast today. A lot of news on Shroud the Avatar, which we plan on covering. But as always, we have to start with the weekly raid, which is actually...
That's true.
Goes to a big news anyway, so take it away.
Yeah, we got some drama later with Shroud the Avatar, but first some rumor milling. So this week we look back once again at Bless. So the headline I chose for this one is Bless Cursed? And the bad news for Bless just never ends. So we got, first of all, the game cost $60 million for NeoWiz. That makes it one of the most expensive MMORPGs of all time. All right. With all that effort and time and money put into it, the game is down to a single server in Korea. So it was at least 3 rounds of mergers in like the 1 year it's been out. After that, the Russian server closed. That was the one we played when we did a Grandfest for it 3 times, so it shows you we kind of enjoyed the game. And now, even bigger news. It looks like the rumors are saying that Aeria Games and Gaming Go have canceled their publishing agreement for the North American and European versions.
Now, this is only a rumor at this point, but more importantly, we have to settle something before we go any further. Is it Aeria Games or Aeria Games? Because you just said Aeria, and I say Aeria. You say Aeria. There's got to be a right answer somewhere. I'm sure they've clarified at one point, but I don't know what the official answer is.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I know it's like a region in California. So
people are saying Aeria. All right, well maybe we'll figure it out one day. But yeah, it's big news because Bless, I think, is actually a really fun game. It's a game that had a lot of potential. And I hate saying the word potential too, because like when you hear about a Kickstarter game or like a really cool sounding indie game, you always say it has potential. But Bless kind of proved, it actually released in a really poor state of unoptimized nonsense. But the core game, I think, was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in the various boss fights. It had a good mix of challenge and mechanics involved in beating the boss fights, and it was really fun. It was wide, persistent open world, but unfortunately, it was unoptimized and it was a disaster. It did really poorly in South Korea. And for over a year, we've been teased about a North American release. And Aeria Games said they're going to be, they pushed the developer NeoWiz to make it more action-oriented. I don't think it had to be action-oriented, but the reason they said they're going to revamp the game and optimize it for a Western release, and it looks like that dream may be gone forever. MMORPG.com actually are the ones that report on this, and they had a lot of credible sources on this. It wasn't officially announced, but apparently the Aeria Games people already met with the people in South Korea, NeoWiz, and they're donezo. So this is looking like it's actually, the game is not going to be published in America by Aeria Games. That doesn't mean the game is dead for sure. There's still hope out there because Aeria can always publish it themselves. But I'm curious to see if anyone
NeoWiz can publish it themselves.
My bad, yeah. NeoWiz can still publish it themselves, publish through Steam or something, or of course work with another publisher. And it would really be really sad to see the game go. They spent over $60 million. It is one of the most expensive MMORPGs ever developed. And I'm curious, our videos for Bless did really well.
Yeah.
People were excited about the game. I'm curious, like, is anybody in the chat still excited about Bless? Do you guys care about Bless at all? I mean, personally, I wish it does come out and they fix the optimization issues. You fix the optimization, I think you have a really solid game.
I mean, yeah, we did this one, like I said, 3 times for Grindfest because, personally, I had a really good time with it. It was a good balance between, like the just boring generic quest at Progressio. The world was beautiful, the music was beautiful, and then there were enough dungeons scattered around for nice, decent group content. So it did feel kind of complete in that sense. The problem was the technical side was not complete.
Yes.
Watching this video, I actually remember at one point when I was kind of messing with the graphic settings, my computer froze, and I just had to, basically pull the plug and restart that way. And then I had to uninstall, reinstall the game. And I didn't keep my install file, so I had to re-download it too while everyone else was, still playing. So that was, it left me very frustrated at the time. So, you can't really get away with that stuff.
With monster PCs. Both my brother and I play with GTX 1080s, top-end i7s, and the frames just would not even get close to 60. Like if I was at like 40 FPS, I was mega happy. And the more you play the game, the more memory leaks happen, the more performance issues happen. You fall below 20 FPS, and you have to restart the game. And it's really unfortunate because there's so many little things the game did right. Like even with the kill quest, right? Like you didn't have to actually talk to an NPC, and the NPC was like, "Go kill 6 dogs and come back to me," right? Like I guess the designers figured there's no need for quests like that. And they actually had a pretty good innovation. Maybe other MMORPGs will do this. So when you kill an enemy in Bless for the first time, no matter what enemy it is, you automatically get a quest saying, kill like 10 more of these enemies. And when you kill those 10 enemies, you instantly get a quest complete. So you basically have these, you get the quest automatically for kill quests. You don't have to talk to an NPC in town. You don't have to go back to them and get the rewards that way. It's kind of all done streamlined. And it's done in a way that it kind of works. You can save the quests for other stuff, and all the basic kill quests are done, you know, automatically. And it's pretty interesting. Like it's a small innovation that Bless did. I'd like to see in other games too.
Yeah, I did. Also, a lot of people don't like the fact that a recent trend in gaming in MMORPGs is a restricted number of hotbar slots. So basically, what happens is your slots is like there's like a resource, and you got to mix and match skills, you know, for optimal build. So a lot of people don't like that, but personally, I think it's not bad if it's done well and there's enough versatility and enough, you know, skill actually involved in picking the right skills that fit your playstyle. It can be, you know, very much more streamlined. Like I remember back playing WoW and stuff, right? And before that, a variety of games where you literally needed like a full 1 to 9 hotkeys, and then F1 to F9 hotkeys, and then you got to hold like control and do another line of hotkeys. So you know if you want to do PvP or raiding, sometimes you need to use like 20 different hotkeys. Some more than others, obviously. But I mean, I don't think it added anything to the gameplay. It just kind of overwhelmed you. So I don't mind restricted number of skill slots. The original EverQuest actually had restricted skill slots, and that worked just fine. Everyone loved that game. So it did a lot right, but unfortunately, I think the technical issues, like the developing coding part, I guess, whatever it is, was just not on par.
And the way you describe the skill system is actually pretty good too, because the utility of like what skills you have equipped actually made a big difference. You can actually save multiple like builds at once, have them equipped, because you had both passives and actives in there too. It wasn't just activatable skills. Your passives actually took up slots as well within your within your builds, and actually gave them cool ways to mix and match the skills you like. And I agree with you completely, because while a lot of games have a shit ton of skills, so many games have a lot of useless skills. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 on my Black Mage, and like half my skills I'm never going to use. Maybe not half, but a good portion of my skills you just almost never use. And having all those skills on your screen it just makes it all cluttered and unnecessary. So it did some things really well. It was unfortunate how bad the engine was. I think we shat on the engine quite a bit last week. It was the Unreal Engine.
Unreal 3,
Unreal 3 engine, not even Unreal 4. And it's really bad that Aeria Games is giving up on the game, because actually when the Russian version shut down, is when we played on, they shut down saying specifically that the game wasn't dead for good. They said, we're shutting it down until we can revise the game with the developer in Korea, and then we're going to relaunch it. So that gave me hope that the North American release was going to happen like soon, because they said that Russia was going to wait for the revamped version too. But now, and I'm curious if, with the Aeria contract potentially canceled, if we'll get that version. I really hope we do. But I don't know. This game is cursed. It's been bad news since the game came out. The Korean version has always been merging down to more, less and less servers. The Russian version shut down. It's all been downhill, honestly.
I think one of the biggest problems with these publishers of these kind of games is the lack of communication and honesty. Like, so many people will say, I'm never playing another, Aeria game again, or Nexon games with 2 pay to win. I don't care at all about the cash out prices or whatever. They don't owe you anything. It's a free to play game. Play it or don't play it, whatever. But what really is interesting is the total lack of respect they have for their customers and community and their players. They continuously told us that they were still working on this. Why couldn't they just tell the truth or just not say that? And people have said the same thing about EverQuest Next. Daybreak and Sony Online Entertainment before that kept saying everything is fine, it's coming along, it's great. Oh, JK, we changed our mind. And Aeria actually did this again with a different game, or if you want to move on to that. They shut down Dragamon Hunter. Dogomon, I don't know how to say it. But
Dragamon Hunter is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those X-Legend MMORPGs. And I actually read the forums. I went back and read the forums when I heard the news. And I was interested in what the people are saying about it. And there was a long-time GM, right? Like a volunteer GM. And he's saying, he was posting, I'm so sad to see this news. We had to find out the same way you guys did from the official announcement. So they didn't even tell their people that were volunteering for, probably years, helping the community for free. They didn't even tell these people that, hey, look, we're gonna wind it down. Just get ready. They didn't have enough respect and just common decency to tell them like a little bit ahead of time what's going on.
That is a mega douchebag move.
Yeah, they're just
assholes. It's really bad that they're doing that. Like they're complete assholes. Like, and the thing is, websites have reached out to Aeria for comment many times, including us. We reached out to Aeria asking them, like, are you guys still interested in Bless? Like, is this going to happen, right? Because we haven't heard anything from you guys. We're curious. Bless Source has done it. 2P has done it. All these websites have reached out to Aeria. And Aeria always, yeah, we're still working on it. Everything is peachy. And now these rumors are coming out that, like, no, it's not peachy. It's going to be canceled. Like, the transparency, the lack of transparency is definitely a big minus, more so than anything else. You know, if they make your favorite game pay to win, like, whatever, they don't owe you anything over there. But to be dishonest and just not tell you what's going on, in the back of the scene is awful.
Yeah,
it is unfortunate.
Once again, it should be noticed that this again is just a rumor, is just an unverified source saying this the agreement is canceled. But everyone, including us, is so ready to believe it because we just have such low expectations of Aeria at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So because of the lack of communication and all that.
Actually, the rumors started back in December of 2016, and the source that MMORPG.com got, they got a lot of information apparently, and they see it's a pretty substantial amount of information that they were given, and it seems pretty credible. And this has apparently been confirmed via internal communication with employees via Vice President of Product Sales Sasha Zihi. So maybe we got to message Sasha Zihi on LinkedIn or something to get some information. I guess they got an internal email probably between Aeria and GameAgo and NeoWiz. That email probably got leaked, and that's why they're saying they cited a specific internal email. This isn't just mindless speculation as the previous rumor was.
I think somebody who works for one of these companies just personally emailed MMORPG.com with information. Yes. Yeah.
And they're tired of the bullshit too. They don't want to get the truth out there, and it's better that we know about it. But I don't want to dwell on this too long. It is unfortunate to see a game like this shut down. I still can't imagine that NeoWiz is going to give up entirely. They spent $60 million making this game. Like, that's so much money, which is why it's mind-numbing that they just couldn't optimize it. Like, before they even went to open beta in Korea, like, you play this game and you realize it just doesn't work. You just can't play it. It's worse than like Terra on launch day. It's just unplayable. It's just so dumb. So many dumb mistakes were made with Blessed. It's give me the $60 million. I'll make something better.
So the final question we'll leave you with here is, what do you guys think? Do you think the game is cursed? Will it ever come out? Is there still some hope? Is this rumor going to be a false? Even if it's true, will NeoWiz decide to publish it here through someone else or self-publish it on Steam or something? What are your thoughts? Let us know. Do you still care about Bless? I care what you think.
I still care about Bless. I still care about it less. But I'm becoming less and less optimistic as we progress. And with that, we should change gears a little bit to, I think, probably the most interesting bit of news for the week and discussion. And it's about Shroud the Avatar. We played this game relatively recently, too. So it's kind of fresh in our minds. Yep. And this actually caught me by surprise when I saw this. I was like, there's no way. There's no way this is happening. And if you guys don't know, what's happening is Shroud the Avatar is actually trying to raise $2 million from investors, and they're aiming for a July 2017 release. So there's two things actually wrong with this right away. The fact they're raising $2 million sounds pretty innocuous at first, but what's ridiculous about it is they're raising $2 million from an equity Kickstarter platform. So basically, Shroud the Avatar has been funded in the past with Kickstarter, and they've actually raised money previously from private investors back in 2012. And now they're reaching out to equity crowdfunding, meaning it's a Kickstarter-like platform, but instead of giving you stuff in the game, they're actually giving you a piece of the company. And this is particularly alarming because the game is backed by a guy named Richard Garriott, the guy that made Ultima Online. He's a pretty big guy in the video game universe. He basically popularized the MMORPG genre. And this guy spent $30 million of his own money going into space. And this guy who makes this game isn't willing to put $2 million of his own money into Shroud the Avatar. And he's asking you, the random player, to fork up $500 at the minimum to invest in the game. And he's promising you a piece of the company. So you will actually own a piece of Portalarium, the company that makes Shroud the Avatar, if you're willing to put up money. And what's even more absurd is just how bad those financials are. Aaron, if you want to go over those. Yeah. It's really dire.
First, what really surprised me is the fact that, here's the thing, guys. If you want to crowdfund on Kickstarter, you can just bullshit and lie all you want, right? No one cares. Yeah. But when you are selling an investment product, okay, this is not just a Kickstarter for donation charity. This site says, it's an investment site. So basically, like Omar said, you're going to end up owning shares in the company. Now, when that's involved, there's a lot of regulation involved. And one of the regulations says involves disclosure. The company has to tell you what the financials are, how much money they have, what's going on, as part of their disclosure agreement. So what baffled me was, if your financials are as bad as this company's are, Why would you go down this avenue? Like, maybe they were not aware of how bad it looks, because they were so used to it. But here are the numbers. So remember, they raised 11 million from crowdfunding so far, and they raised another about 9 million or so private funding. So this game spent about $20 million already. It's gone, and what they have left in the bank is $500,000. Well, it's still not bad, right? $500,000. But here's the catch. Their monthly burn rate, which is how much they spend each month to stay afloat, is $230,000. So they got 2 months of money in the bank.
It is leaky boat is actually, I would say, an overstatement. Is giving them the too much benefit over there.
Understatement.
Understate rather. If you have $500K in the bank and you're burning through $220,000 every single month, you are in an awful position. You have 2 months of leeway to make everything work. They don't own their own building. They pay $5,000 a month of rent. They have no assets beyond the code they have for the game, and it is unfortunate. They're trying to raise $2 million, and they gave all this information out there. At this point, you would think, like, how can Richard Garriott not just fund this himself? $2 million is nothing to a guy who spends $30 million to go on a private shuttle to the International Space Station. Like, this guy. There's a video on YouTube of extravagant houses. He lives in a castle, all right? He spends money all the time, right? But he can't be bothered to put $2 million in his own game and is begging for equity crowdfunding. And it's particularly disgusting because they went to private investors in 2012 and they got $2 million from private investors. People were willing to put private equity, seed investors. They were able to believe in the vision they put money in. And the only reason they're going to equity crowdfunding now and revealing their financials to the public is because they clearly couldn't raise more money from private investors. People that actually know the video game industry were like, no, we're not giving you any more money. Your game is shit. It's not going to happen, right? So they couldn't raise money there, and they're trying to raise money publicly now. And a lot of fans of Shroud the Avatar are actually pretty upset over this too, about the current state of the game.
Oh yeah.
And they're take a look at this post, for example.
One guy was real salty on Reddit. I remember that. Oh, this is it, right? Yeah.
This is it, and it's pretty ridiculous too, because first of all, there's a lot going wrong. They're aiming for. They're pitching to their investors. They're aiming for a July 2017 release date. I mean, they're going from pre-alpha to release in 2 months. Like, how is that possible? Well, how could you even do that?
To be fair, this did cause a shitstorm, and Richard Garriott himself had to give multiple interviews and kind of clear the air, or at least backtrack. I don't know what their actual position is, but they did backtrack that release schedule. They said that the July date will be when the story is finished, right? And there will be no more progression wipes. See, when we played at a time when there will be no more property wipes, like progression of your money and property wipe. But there was another story wipe after we stopped playing. So in July there'll be a fresh wipe, and then the story will no longer wipe. What that means exactly, I guess that means the questing wasn't complete, but it will be now. So he had to walk that back. But I still think it's a little questionable.
First of all, I do want to clear the air a little bit too, because by no means are we asserting that the game isn't legit. We played the game; it's playable. They have something out there already, which is more than most crowdfunded games. There's actually there's a lot there, and I have friends that do play Shroud the Avatar. And what's ridiculous, what's funny too, is that they're saying they'll be working on episode 2 to 5 after release, which will be on console and mobile. Like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
That just seems reeks of desperation. They're probably thinking, okay, we can't raise any money. Let's just slap the words console and mobile on there, because mobile gaming is big. What about Shroud the Avatar up until now has been about mobile? Like, has anyone in the Shroud the Avatar community talked about a mobile or console release for this game, or some kind of side project? I don't think so.
A couple more funny stories and numbers from the story. So they always said on their website they had over 200,000 players, right? But that number was ridiculous. That was just accounts, like registered accounts. So accounts people like you and me who played for free. Mm-hmm. The actual number of people they have that paid money for the game is 65,000. Mm-hmm. And another thing, Richard Garriott had to defend that number of $230,000 a month burn rate, saying it's sustainable, because he said we make about that much every month. So we don't keep a lot of money in the bank. Instead, we just hire and fire people as we need to, depending on our projections for our monthly revenue. That would mean those 65,000 people have to spend an average of $35 a month each to play this pre-alpha game, which is not.
I don't buy that for a moment. That he's saying there's that burn rate sustainable. I mean, maybe going forward he could say it's sustainable, but you can't lie in the finances. They have something called an accumulated deficit of $18 million. as of 2016. That means $18 million is gone. That money is
Yeah,
spent in losses. It's already gone. Like maybe going forward, he could argue that.
Well, that's what he means. He means that every month it's basically breaking even at this point.
Okay. If that's true, then they're good. They have runway then. But I mean, we don't know that, and I don't think that there was their income statement wasn't revealed in the seed invest round.
Well, my biggest issue here with this story, guys, is this, and this kind of cemented my point here. This game, for so long, a lot of Western gamers, right, have basically shat on the Asian model, the free-to-play model, right? They say, oh, it's all going to be pay to win, otherwise you just sit there and you can't be competitive, yada yada yada, pay to win. So there was like lashback, and then we got all these crowdfunded games that were going to be pure. They weren't going to be pay to win. Instead, what we got was an even worse model than the Asians gave us. See, at least the Asian games, one, they came out on time. They were, there's a whole bunch of them.
Happened.
They happened, yeah. And you could play for free or you could pay. So instead, now what we have with a lot of these Western developers, whether it's Star Citizen, whether it's Shroud the Avatars, we have unfinished products, an alpha status, that cost more than what a free-to-play game that you're actually paying to win in costs. Because remember, in Shroud the Avatar, you got to spend like $1,000, $50, $100 for like the house, the loom, like all these little decorations in your house, and people spend the money because unless Richard Garrett is lying out of his teeth, these 65,000 players are spending an average of $35 a month each, which I believe that's very possible. I don't think there's nothing impossible about that. If you look at the prices on their website, some houses cost lots of money. Let me look that up.
So I mean, the $1,000 houses, you got to pay taxes on those, and the player housing, I should mention, in Shroud the Avatar is actually pretty excellent. And I don't mean to shit on this game at all. I think we talked about it after we did our Grindfest video. They did a lot of things correctly. I mean, it was different. You had the Ultima Online model of skill progression. You had a great housing system with great interactions. Like, they did so many things like really well. And I love the fact that it felt and played different in all the Korean grinders we played. So they did a good job differentiating themselves on that front. It's just that the interface was super ugly and it wasn't polished or finished just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
And I really hope, I think the game is still going to come out one way or another. It's just, the fact that they're going to crowdfunding, like equity crowdfunding, is just really upsetting because the guy's got all this money. Like, prove to your, fans who already backed your game that you're willing to put your own money on the line. Like, how can you be worth all this money? Like, I don't know Richard Garriott's personal finances, right? But anyone that can spend $30 million going to space can fork up another $2 million to support your own game. Like, one was like a leisurely trip. At least he's a chance of making money with Shroud the Avatar. And then he wants you to back his game. All these people. I want to see him put more money into the game, and that would inspire confidence in me as someone watching. And what's even more insulting, actually, is that people that back the game through the Seedvest platform actually get in-game rewards, like Kickstarter-style rewards for backing the game. Does that mean everyone who, I feel like everyone that retroactively backed the game in the past should also get equity investments in the game? If they're giving away like piece of the company to everyone that funds the game going forward, why not give that? Like, you kind of screw over all your early backers because
that's
you
a
get
huge
all this free shit.
That's a huge problem that a lot of these companies are going to have as they go to these equity sites. I know Crowfall got some shit for that too. They were giving better rewards to their later crowdfunding, participants than their original ones. What sounds fair to me is the people who got in first, right, who funded it years ago, should get the best deal, right? And it should get worse over time. That seems like common sense, but I think it's an act of desperation when you got to offer better and better, carrots to your some digital carrots, right, to your product that doesn't exist yet.
Oh man, I really hope this game succeeds though. My brother and I are both big fans of Richard Garriott. We actually have a signed picture of Richard Garriott. All right, we're such big fans of this guy. We got his autograph. All right, our uncle got the autograph. We got it from him. But like, this is literally our childhood. Ultima Online. We played this game for like over 6 years, and we played 24/7, like basically 16 hours a day on the weekends, and as much as we could on the weekdays. We absolutely loved the Ultima Online, and the foundation of Shroud the Avatar is very much Ultima Online-esque, and seeing the housing in the game, walking around, interacting with people, really gave me a lot of hope for this game too. So I think it's still going to release. It just, the position they're in right now just reeks of desperation.
I love like this people you guys are watching are a lot of you are surprised because I've been showing the stores and I was talking and we're seeing $50 cosmetics, $1,000 housing plots, and this is not the game we played, Omar. Omar and I played Ultima Online, like he said. But back then, you know how you got houses in the game? You killed monsters, you got gold, and you put the house down. You didn't go to the EA website and like give them $1,000. These crowdfunded games are worse than like EA. They're worse than the Asian free-to-play models. They're the biggest. At least those other games are money grabs, but they give you the game, right? These things they want thousands of dollars from you if you're like a hardcore fan. It's just a bizarro world. It doesn't make any sense.
Virtual real estate could pay dividends, all right? I'm sure some plots of land in Second Life went for a lot of money too if you speculated correctly.
I don't like it. All right, so I'm a little less hopeful than you on this game. Yes, something will launch. Yes, it will be possible to play for free and have fun, but the intersection between the real world and the fantasy world, through all this money, like real money pouring in, right? It just really takes a lot away. Even more so than like those Asian games. Like I said, it's just too much for me. Like when I see a house in a game, like a castle, like when I saw a castle in Ultima Online, my first thought was, wow, this guy is so cool. He must be really good at the game. He must have played a lot. He must be like a powerful guild leader or master or whatever. Or he was somebody in the game. Now in Shroud of the Avatar, when I see a castle, right, the first thing I'm gonna think is, well, this guy just whipped out the credit card and he's got no life and he spent $1,000 here. So I got no respect for him. So I don't know. That's just me.
I like the fact that you earn your house in games like Ultima. Even in Final Fantasy 14, I saved up money and I got a mansion on Gilgamesh, the server I'm on right now, and it costs like over 300 million in gil in game. And like stuff like that you get in game. It does kind of cheapen the experience if you literally just buy it from Square Enix. Like those are only available for cash money. And you're like, oh, the guild that has that house like in a really nice spot that's worth $1 billion gil. Oh, he just paid like $10,000. Who cares? That's not like earning it. They get no respect for that. But putting in the hours, putting in the grind, it feels a little nicer and more legit. Even if they buy the gold from somebody else, whatever. When Square Enix, if they sold the house directly, it does kind of diminish it, I think.
I've been shitting on Shroud of the Avatar too much, guys. And again, my focus should not be Shroud of the Avatar. It's this whole Western crowdfunded MMO model that I'm really against right now. So I went on the Crowfall website. And these are some of the Crowfall prices, okay, guys? This game, oh, look at that. I can pay $500, euros. I can pay 1,900 euros. Let's see. Oh, 7,000 euros. Yeah, this is what I want. I want a 2017 Imperial Palace, guys. It's only gonna. Or I can buy a car. Which one should I do? Should I buy a castle in a video game or should I buy a car, guys? I don't know.
Another thing too is like I think what really hurts a lot of these Western games is the development cost.
And you guys were like, "Oh, I don't want to play this game. It's pay to win." Like this stuff makes Revelation Online or like those Chinese browser games look like freaking charities. All right.
The $7,000 Imperial Palace, nice boys.
Oh
$7,000 castle hype. Oh man. Also, the development cost differential between like Western and Eastern games, like X Legend, the game that shut down Dragon Ball Hunter from Aeria Games, right? And they make Grand Fantasia, they make Twin Saga, they make all these anime-inspired games, they make Aura Kingdom as well. And look, you can say Aura Kingdom isn't like some revolutionary MMORPG that's going to change the genre. Spoilers, it's not, right? It's nothing really that amazing. But it's a fun game, you can sink a lot of time into it, gorgeous graphics. A game like that costs probably a fraction of even what Shroud the Avatar costs, and they spent over $20 million on it, or about $20 million, and they're basically not even close to being done. And the company that makes Shroud the Aura Kingdom, they're worth like $250 million on the Taiwanese stock market. Maybe I'll do some research on that because I'm curious how much it cost X Legend to make a new game. Because LaPlace is another new game that X Legend is making. So because they're publicly traded, they may actually disclose like what their budget is per game. And if I can find that for you guys, I'll talk about it next week. But the differential between Eastern and Western games, like the development cost, is insane. I think that's one of the reasons we don't really see too many Western MMORPGs anymore. I think the cost has gone through the roof. I mean, look at the most expensive games. Like games like Star Wars: Old Republic cost over $100 million to make. Bless in Korea cost $60 million. They got nothing yet. So MMORPGs cost a lot of money if you don't do it right.
I'm looking at some Star Citizen ships now. They have so many ships on sale. I can't even find like the nice expensive ones. But they're definitely like $1,000 plus ships in this game too, guys. Good stuff.
Okay, see what's funny is Natry just messages me on he tells me to check Discord on Twitch, and you know what he says? It's funny for the stream. He says, "Remo, that pistol girl is cute. Hello? Are you getting in on this?" I'm like, what? That's what Natry would tell me on Discord. It's pretty funny.
Natry is the boss of this Twitch. I'll tell you guys that much.
He's a funny guy.
Anyway, yeah. So this whole model, I think, is insane. It makes EA and stuff look good. You know, people were complaining. I remember when Battlefield series, they wanted to charge more for a game, like $100 for like the season pass and all that. $100 is a bargain, you know, compared to these games.
Yeah, I do think a lot of Korean and I'm gonna leave Chinese out of this. I feel like a lot of Chinese MMORPGs deserve all the pay-to-win accusations. I think a lot of Korean games get too much hate. I mean, looking at Black Desert Online, saying, "Oh my God, it's completely pay-to-win." No, it's not. You know, you can get the 4 pets. Obviously, that costs $40. Like, if you want to get the full streamlined experience, you can spend like at least $100, right? But like, it's nowhere near as ridiculous as a lot of like Chinese games. I think Chinese games, it's fair to call them 100% pay-to-win nonsense, where you can scale your strength as much as you spend money on, whether it's a Chinese browser MMORPG or client MMORPG. I did a first look for Forsaken World Mobile, and like in the store, there's like a VIP tier. You just spend like $100,000 to get there, like $100,000 US to get the max level tier in Forsaken World Mobile. And some of the other Perfect World games I looked at in China, you just spend like 150 grand to get the max level gear, like the best possible VIP tiers. So like, no, you can't spend that kind of money in Black Desert Online. And most Korean games, yeah, you can spend money on them, right? But like, rarely can you ever spend that kind of money. Like, the games aren't built that much to be a money pit the way a lot of Chinese
That's
games
a great example, Black Desert. I remember when Black Desert launched, you know, there were some people on Reddit posting stuff like, "Warning, don't play Black Desert. You know, it's only $6, but you're going to have to spend like another couple $100 to like be competitive." Well, dude, you got to spend $15,000. You know, if you play Star Citizen, assuming it comes out, you're going to be competing with people who 4 years ago spent 15 grand on the completionist package. So they got like the best battleships coming at you. It's insane.
I mean, you look at that page right now in Star Citizen, so I got to mention it. I think there was an event where they sold these Javelin ships in Star Citizen. I mean, they're normally like $4,000. They went on sale, right? 50 ships went on sale. They were normally $4K. They went on sale for $2,000, right? And apparently, all 50 of those ships at $2K each sold instantly. And there were like countless threads on Reddit saying, "Oh my God, I missed a sale. What the hell? It went instantly. All the bots bought them. What the hell? I want to buy this $2,000 ship." Man, people spending that kind of money in Star Citizen are complaining about some of the pay-to-win elements in Black Desert. Get lost, all right? They're not even on the same tier, all right?
Yeah, and again, I got to say it again because it's so important. The people backing these projects, right, these Western, were the exact same group of people complaining about where the business model has been going in PC gaming. And it's just so like, it's like karmic justice that, what they were, insulting just came back at them like 10 times worse. So it's pretty funny.
I think Western mobile developers really figured it out, though. I mean, like games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, those games are really big money pits too, and they're, I think they're made by Norway. Makes
Finland.
There you go. I mixed up my
Nordics
countries.
Right.
I mixed up the Nordics.
Oh wow, that was an interesting discussion.
I really hope Shroud Avatar happens though, and I think they'll get over this hump. And Rich DeGary will. I feel like if it comes to it, he'll fund the money to keep the game afloat. I think he'll do that. But like, if he doesn't have to put his own money down, I guess he won't.
I got a good segue, and you know what? This is actually going to sound. This kind of changed my mind on it. This whole story. Okay, so before the podcast began, Omar and I talked about something I brought up, and I was ready to be mad about this, but I'm actually not that mad anymore. So Final Fantasy 14 is going to start doing potion. You can buy a potion that makes you get to level 60, right? Or 50? 60.
Yep.
So a level 60 potion. When it's going to be $25, right? Yep. I don't know, whatever, $25. But you also need to spend another $25 to buy a quest skip potion. So what this means is to fully get your character ready for the new expansion, it will cost you $50. If you don't already own the game, it will cost you another $60 for the base game plus expansion. So $110 to start playing Final Fantasy 14 at the latest point. And I was going to be mad about this. Like I was just like, "Well,
no, you should be mad. You should be mad. I'm a little mad."
Okay, so I was really mad, right? But now after I just did a piece, 10-minute rant about $15,000 spaceships and $8,000 castles, I really can't be that mad anymore. Like,
no, you're right. If you look at $15,000 virtual castles, it's nothing compared to that. But this actually makes me appreciate what World of Warcraft did. With their level boosts. If you bought Legion, you got a free max level 100 boost automatically, right? That came included with the expansion. It's not coming included with the Stormblood expansion at all, which is unfortunate because, I mean, you really can't play with your friends unless you buy. If you haven't been playing and you want to get new to the game, you really can't even begin to look at the new content until you spend all this time. Like, at least in World of Warcraft, I feel like, I'm not sure how long it takes to get to max level in WoW now, but they've really streamlined the experience that I feel like you can do in probably 10 hours, 12 hours in game time, because they really sped up the leveling process, right? And you don't have to do any of the quests in World of Warcraft. But in Final Fantasy XIV, if you want to play with your friends that are in Stormblood, the latest expansion coming out on June 20th, you have to go through all the main story quests. And the main story quests aren't like, just a couple quests here and there, a couple quests changed. No. To do the Realm Reborn story, it takes 30 hours of real time to just do every single quest. And that's assuming you just face roll all of them, right? So there's such a gap. You have to spend all this time to be able to get to the new content. And the fact that they didn't include if they're going to sell the level 60 boost, it should have at least included the quest skip for the people that are going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And to make them buy them separately is almost like insulting that they're doing that.
Here's the thing. A lot of people in chat now are saying like, well, you shouldn't do this. You're stupid to do this because the story is important, right? Yes, I get it. The story is important. But I would say anyone who likes the story, likes the game, is already played through it, right? And is just waiting for the expansion. The point should be to get new people into the game, right? When the expansion launches, and new people are usually going to play for one reason. If they have friends that are playing, right, and their friends pull them in, you can't have a group of friends get their one other guy to come in and then say, well, we're not going to play with you for 3 months because you got to catch up.
Yeah, 60 hours of in-game time.
And of course, by the time you catch up, we're going to be done, so it's not going to matter. So that's the thing. A lot of people who just want to play because they want to play with their friends. You can't tell them, well, go play the story for 3 months. That's not gonna, that's not an attractive proposition for those people.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish they bundled them together. And what makes it even more a little bit silly is they actually in the Polygon article about the pricing, they actually said it's not about the money. If it's not about the money, why would you bundle them together? That's such an insulting thing to put in there. Of course, it's about the money. Otherwise, you wouldn't sell them separately. In fact, it's so much about the money. They break it down too. If you want to skip the Realm Reborn story, it's $18. If you want to skip both Realm Reborn and Heavensward, it's $25. So there's different price points for how much of the story you want to skip.
It's clearly about the money, or else they wouldn't nitpick and make it so detailed about what they're charging for.
But I do want to agree with many of the people in Twitch chat. I do think the story is worth listening to. It's one of the few MMORPGs. I mean, it's Final Fantasy, so you kind of expect a good story, right? And the world building is really good. I think we criticize a lot of Asian MMORPGs, Korean MMORPGs and Chinese grinders, very cheapo games that they don't do a lot of world building. They don't make the characters interesting. I think Final Fantasy has a lot of interesting characters, and they do a lot of building the world. You want to explore the world to a degree, and the characters, they can be interesting. There are one-dimensional characters too. Every movie, game, TV show has one-dimensional, annoying characters, but it's a really interesting world that they build, and the story is well told. It's one of the few games where I have to stop sometimes and look up the words they're saying. They actually purposely use a lot of old language, old English words that don't get used too often anymore. So the vocabulary in FF14 is surprisingly excellent too. You want to sharpen your vocabulary, play some FF14. Read the story. It's quite good.
There you go. It's actually a reading lesson. So think of it like homework.
There you go. Just as your SAT prep, just play Final Fantasy XIV and say you're doing it to study. Seems legit.
Well, a little more on expansion talk. Apparently, the Elder Scrolls Morrowind officially launched today, right? Mm-hmm. I was under the impression it launched weeks ago because I was playing. I don't know what that's about.
That's early access. Come on, it was a PC early access a week ago.
Oh, so now it's launched on consoles as well. That's the thing. Okay.
The consoles did not have the PC early access, and actually, I think only people that bought the game or pre-ordered the game were able to get the early access on PC. What? So once early access began, I think if you bought it, you don't get access to early access. You have to wait till the full release.
Really?
But now it's officially launched, and anyone can play it. So it's out there now. You've been playing a bit of that along with Black Desert. What are you liking more anyway? I've been seeing you play both.
Well, like I said before, if you want to play an RPG with the story and dialogue and lore and the world, play Elder Scrolls Morrowind. If you want to play an MMORPG where the focus is not the content the game wrote for you, but what you want to do in the world, like an actual MMO, then you play Black Desert. So that's my take on that. Personally, of the two, I've been enjoying Black Desert more, but I think there's room to definitely play both of these games because they serve different itches. So there it is.
Yeah. And we have to mention, this is like a long time coming, guys. Battleborn is free to play. It happened, I think, was it today, June 6th, actually. Yeah, they posted on their Steam page that play the Battleborn free trial. We've been speculating about free-to-play Battleborn, I think, for over a year now, because the game was basically dead on Steam charts. And what's ridiculous is the guy behind it. They're doing the best they can to avoid the word free-to-play, right? Because I guess 2K Games doesn't like the word free-to-play or the term free-to-play. So instead, they're going with a free trial, but it's an unlimited free trial. So I don't know why they're sticking with the word free trial when it's got a very traditional, almost like free-to-play model. There's no time limits or level caps. There's a weekly rotation of 6 heroes that the free-to-play users can play, and all your progression is permanent. So it is a little bit odd that they're going with that wording, but it happened. The game is free-to-play, and it's more popular now than it's been in God knows how many years now.
How's it done? Let me see.
Look at Steam charts.
I shall.
I dropped you the link.
I will find the link on my own.
It's more popular now than it was long time. It's huge right now.
It's not huge. I'm seeing 780 people.
800. 800? Yeah, 789.
That's huge.
Look at the numbers before. It just launched as this. It was literally nobody before.
No, this is not.
It's not huge. I find it's not huge. It's giving it hope.
I don't know, man. This is not good. I mean, and remember, it's only gonna if it came out today, it's gonna drop in half or more. In like a day or two.
I don't think so. We'll see. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you looked at even Black Desert, after it launched, it's been steadily increasing in player base up until Memorial Day weekend. So it actually increased as it went. And I think Battlerite as well also increased as it went for like at least a couple of weeks. But we'll see how it does. The problem with a MOBA, like this is people. I've long been a believer in free to play, and everyone kind of says, I think every game will go free to play. But it was so weird that Battleborn, didn't go free to play until now. It's a MOBA competing with games like HOTS, Dota, League of Legends, 3 huge games, Smite, that are all free to play. But then here comes like a contender called Battleborn, without a big name behind it, and they're going to charge you like $50-$60 for it. Like, it's insane. Like, why do they think they can get away with being a buy-to-play game when literally the biggest PC game in the world, the most successful PC game in the world in the same exact genre, is free to play, as is number 2, number 3, and number 4, all free to play. But I think at least now there's a chance. It still may not succeed, but I'm rooting for them.
Okay, look, I think they have to be much stronger out of the gate than 700. It's too late, and they're gonna have competition in this market. Things like what was it, Gigantic is coming out in full release soon. It's gonna be free to play, right?
Yep.
So I mean, there's other options in this arena. These kind of faster paced MOBA-esque games. This with the whole cartoon graphics. So Battleborn is not alone here, and I don't know if even Paladins, they're kind of
really well, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't think there's room for Battleborn. I don't know.
I could have told you that before too, but let's say you're the head of Battleborn, right? You're the guy in charge. You look at your this is a week before you go free to play.
I jump out the window. All right.
You jump out the window, okay? But let's say you don't want to kill yourself and you want to keep working on Battleborn, okay? You get some fat salary for working there, okay? There's only 100 people on your game on average. Like, what do you do? Like, there's no other option but going free to play, right? Or shutting the game down, right? Like, they made the right choice. There was no other choice.
Yes, but what I would have done is kind of what like Paladins did. I would not have done a free trial. I would have just kind of revamped, pulled back, spent some time doing a Battleborn Reborn. Like, how good is that? It rhymes.
That Battleborn Reborn, I like that.
Okay.
I like the way that sounds.
So I would have done the whole thing. I would have thrown in cosmetic loot boxes. I would have thrown in like costumes. I would have thrown in like the sprays and like the voice lines, all that bullshit that people love. So you earn coins by playing games to unlock the loot box. I would have done all that bullshit.
They could have handled the free-to-play version much better. I think they're actually making it so you can't like buy heroes like just by playing the game, right? They make it a free trial. It's more restricted than a traditional free-to-play MOBA. So they are avoiding the complete free-to-play term, and I think it would behoove them to just relaunch it as like Battleborn Reborn.
How good is that name, guys?
Nice. Listen, honestly, 2K Games should just pause right now and hire Altai as a consultant. All right. Gaming consultant. And revamp Battleborn Reborn.
I'm sure you guys watch Mad Men. That's like the best job, you know. Like I wish I could be that Mad Men guy. Like I just sit around all day smoking my cigarettes, you know. And I work I work 20 minutes a day. I just come up with like a slogan. That's it.
Boom.
I bang my secretary. All right.
There you go. That's number one. That's before you jump out the window. All right, get that out of the way, and then you're good to go. But yeah, I think they should have revamped it a bit and at least made some better free-to-play progression stuff to keep those players around if they wanted hope. But we'll see. I'm still not optimistic, but I do think it was their best option to have some kind of free trial. And hopefully they do pretty well, but we'll have to wait and see.
We shall see. Maybe we'll give this a try. In their unlimited free trial. Let's see how it's changed.
Let's talk another little, not really a funny story, but I feel like your comment to this story was more funny than the story itself. It's about the Steam Direct.
Oh, Steam Direct. All right, let me find that.
I gave it to you.
Okay, there it is. So, this is something I was kind of, I think I voiced my opinion on this most loudly, that there's too much garbage on Steam. Too many garbage games. I remember kind of when the indie boom started. I played Braid, right? So I bought Braid on a whim, and I just played it like 10 hours straight till I beat it. It was so good. It was so fun. It was so fresh. It was interesting, smart. You know, this 2D platformer. And then over the next few years after Braid, so much garbage came out, and I bought a few of the garbage because I thought they were good, but they were just shitty 2D platformers. They weren't interesting. So I think there was too much garbage being plowed into Steam after a few indie games got successful. And then Steam made it worse with Greenlight, obviously. And finally, they decided to get rid of Greenlight and do Steam Direct. And they actually posed a range that they wanted some community feedback with. They said, we want to charge a number for listing our game on Steam, for your game on Steam. And we want the number to be between $100 and $5,000. That was their thought process. And they kind of just left it out there. People talked about it on the internet. And I voted 5,000. I thought 5,000, the higher the better. And of course, Steam comes back with the lowest possible number, $100. A huge disappointment. And a lot of people on the comments, I'll get to that later, are, oh, $100 is still a lot. $100, by the way, is recoupable. So you give them $100, you get your game on Steam, and then after you sell a certain number of copies, they give you your $100 back. So this isn't like Steam making money off you. This is just like, is your game shit, or is it a good game that you believe in? If you believe in it, you're going to put down a deposit, okay? We're going to hold the deposit until your game actually sells a few copies, so it's not a pile of shit, and then you get your money back. So under that model, I don't see what was wrong with 5,000. Like, where do you stand on that?
Look, I think 5,000 might be a bit on the high end, especially for indie developers. I mean, I get it. Like, most people don't have like $5,000 in the bank. Period. Right? Like, if you're a gainfully employed guy making like 50 grand a year, like that's above national average. Odds are you don't have too much savings in the bank if you're like a younger person. If you're below 30, you got like nothing in the bank on average, right? So to ask them to have $5,000, I can understand the issue over there. But on the opposite end, $100 is way too low. You have to at least believe in your product to be able to put a bigger deposit than that. $100 is not going to accomplish the goal of weeding out the shit games on Steam. Plenty of shit games can put the $100 deposit down. I think a better middle ground would be like 2K, 2.5K was my number I was thinking.
Yeah. And remember, guys, someone in comments mentioned too that, well, indie developers don't have a lot of money. But first of all, remember that, first of all, you get it back, obviously. And second of all, people have a support network. If you spend years making a video game, right, which it takes years to make a good game, if you're working solo especially, you have friends, you have family, you have a mortgage, you got credit cards. If you believe in your game, you can even 10,000. If you can't come up with 10,000 and you spent 3 years making a game, let's say, and you can't come up with 10,000 through mortgaging this, selling your wedding ring, whatever, then you don't believe in your game. That's another story. I'm in Turkey now. People here, even poorer countries like Syria, they pay people smugglers tens of thousands of dollars. These guys don't know how to read or write, some of them, and they somehow find $10,000 to get to Europe or whatever they want to do. The point is, if you want something, if you believe in something, you can get $100 or $5,000. That's not the issue. Like it just means this is going to allow more garbage games to be listed on Steam. That's the only
all right, listen, hold on. Here's an avenue for you to make money. If you're an indie developer and you need to come up with, let's say it was $5,000. Actually, I googled this a while ago, but if you could actually donate your sperm, all right. And unfortunately, there are some pretty strict requirements, though. Okay, interestingly enough, you have to be like over 6 feet tall. Nobody wants short sperm, right? If you're like over 6 feet tall and you have a college degree, you get $1,000 a month for donating sperm.
I'm 0 for 2, boys.
You're over 2. So am I. Unfortunately, I'm not over 6 feet tall, and I don't have a college degree, so my sperm ain't worth jack apparently. But yeah, and you go donate your plasma if you got it. Right? Do what you got to do. I agree with you though 100%. Like $5,000 you should be able to get if you work literally years on your game. And the $100 number, it's like people are still complaining about $100 being too much. That's when I get upset. Like anyone that tells me that $100 is too much money for any developer to pay the Steam listing fee, get out of here. Get lost. Come on. You can literally go beg on the street and make $100 in a couple days. All right, less if you're pretty good at it.
I mean, here's
so
a comment.
Don't tell me $100 is too much.
That reminds me. Okay, so this is the comment I made that Omar apparently liked. So here's a stereotypical guy saying, "Well, $100 is a lot of money. You know, people in the UK are on on food support," which is true. You know, some people in the UK need money from the government to buy food. I get it. But remember, we're talking about developers here. You know, game developers. So I said, yeah, and I bet they all know JavaScript. If only Steam would list their indie masterpieces pro bono, they could get out of the dole. So again, that's important to note because a lot of people who in the West, that don't have $100, tend to be low-skilled people. God bless, help them out. But if you can make a video game, it means you're a very talented person with a very expensive skill set. Programming. And if your game doesn't work out, you can go work for IBM. You're not going to go hungry. You have a skill that people need. So that was my only point there.
The guy jumped on you for saying that. And he told him go back in the. I think he said if you don't have $100, go back to the nearest refugee camp.
Oh yeah, you like that one too.
That was my favorite line. I died laughing at that line for some reason.
Oh yeah. So okay, this guy says $100 is a lot of money for indie developers. I said $100 is huge to indie developer ? In what world? If $100 is huge for someone, they should probably get back to the UN food aid line at the nearest refugee camp. So that was me being a little bit of a troll.
Okay, and I get it. $100 is nothing to laugh at, right? $100, but it's a one-time deposit on Steam. I think that's more than reasonable. It's almost insulting to say $100 is too much for a game programmer and a game developer to put up on Steam. It's insulting to hear that that's too much money. It's completely not. But yeah, that's Steam Direct.
Pistol has some good advice for us, and we're to make some money at the sperm bank.
Oh.
So here's what you got to do. We got to get a nice big trench coat. And then one of us have to sit on another one's shoulders. Okay. So,
there you go.
So then we're
like Home Alone 3. This or wherever that was from.
So we're actually 8 feet tall. Dude,
that sperm must be worth $5K a month at least. All right, we get the good sperm, the super tall sperm. Actually, what's funny is some of the sperm banks actually say if you're blonde, they'll pay you even more.
Yeah.
So it's funny how some things add to the value of your sperm. If you're blonde, if you have if the taller you are, the more your sperm is worth. The higher your education level, if you have a high school degree, nobody wants your sperm, all right? RIP. It doesn't matter how, what you got going for you. Nobody wants your dumb sperm, all right? Apparently my sperm is dumb too, so rest in pepperoni me. I don't think they discriminate on blood though, or plasma. You can sell your plasma and you'll be okay. But I feel like if you sell too much plasma, you'll be tired and sleepy all day, so it's not good.
Not good.
I like your idea though. We gotta go with the trench coat and sitting on each other's shoulders. Great plan.
Great plan.
Nothing can go wrong.
All right. Okay, one last thing. Oh, can you find that VPN article we have?
Yeah.
So, with the release of Black Desert, I have gotten a renewed number of comments. I've seen a renewed number of comments saying I can't play Black Desert in my region, right? Mm-hmm. So this seems to be a pretty common issue, and I really think, guys, if anybody out there does not have a VPN service yet, it's really, at this point, an essential part of your internet toolbox. Here's what you need. You need Amazon Prime. You need Netflix.
You need that, all right.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Amazon Prime is $100
a year.
Too much money. We can't do it.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
We got to sell our sperm. We got to go to the food bank. You can't afford $100 a year. It's too much money. Remember?
All right. So after you sell your sperm and your plasma, okay. So these are the things you got to do with that money. Okay. You got to donate your hair, obviously. All that's too. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm growing it out. So a VPN, I think, is a key part of that internet toolbox. Because it will allow you to play Black Desert no matter where you are. I mean, fun fact, guys, I actually can't play Black Desert in Turkey. But I can actually play it because of a VPN. So if you don't have one yet, we got a lovely page on the website here where there are multiple choices, options, including a free one, I believe.
VPN Gate is free, and I recommend it for any game that only does a VPN check on login. For the longest time, you were able to play Blessed, for example. They only do a VPN check when you launch the game. So after you launch the game, you can just turn the VPN off and go back to your regular internet, and VPN Gate is excellent for that. But if you're willing to pay, I think the best one is Viper from my experience. And I've been using it for over a year now.
And again, so this will not only help you with gaming, but it will prevent you when you're downloading things perhaps you shouldn't be downloading. This will be a shield for you. There's also, you can access certain services, like where there's like, I think, like if you watch streaming services like I think BBC or Al Jazeera that are free in some countries, but they cost money in others, most VPNs give you an option to connect to different countries, and you can choose each time. So you will get your money's worth, I believe. If you spend time on the computer a lot like we do, which I'm assuming you guys do too if you're gamers, you will get your money's worth, even with the premium ones. So yeah, please look at that. Tell your friends about it.
Especially if you want to play like a game specifically. Like, don't let if it says game is not available in your region, don't let that stop you. I know a lot of people are asking about playing BDO, but they can't because of IP blocks. There's a very easy solution to that. Just use a VPN.
Yeah.
Problem solved. I used to play Korean games. I used to play Chinese games that you normally couldn't play, and it works really well.
Yes. Friends don't let friends go without VPNs.
If you're watching that, that lolly hentai on the internet, you don't want to get caught or in trouble or be embarrassed, turn on the VPN. It's got the double whammy over there.
Yes, a lot of uses there. All right,
these things come in use all the time. All the time, every night they come in use.
Every night, firmware. All right. Okay, we can move on. Again, like I said, guys, every time I do a BDO video, we do one. I see the comments, so I just gotta. Yeah. I got triggered.
We should talk a little bit about this game shutting down. It's unfortunate. It's LaTale is shutting down through OGPlanet, and it's actually the story's a bit more interesting than just LaTale. First of all, they've been running LaTale for I think over 4 or 5 years now. It's been around for a long time. But LaTale is like the MapleStory clone. It's one of the only other side-scrolling MMORPGs, and they'll be shutting down. Looks like for good on June 28th. And they'll be transferring service over to a company called Papaya Play, it sounds fun, Let's go play on Papaya Play. It just rolls off the tongue, and I really like the name Papaya Play.
I don't like it. It's too long. It's
beyond that though. Unfortunately, you can't transfer your characters, which is really unfortunate because, it was a very grindy game. Getting to max level that took forever, and all character data will be lost. Like, I don't understand why that happens because the game is getting transferred, the license is renewed by another company, but either OGPlanet or Papaya Play like, fuck you, we're not letting you transfer your characters. One of the companies just said, no, we're not going to let you transfer characters. I'm kind of curious, like, who is it?
Well, actually, I think there was a new announcement that you can. No, just kidding. It will be lost.
Yeah. What tripped you up probably is that they have a transfer service, and what that does is it lets you verify that you are a veteran and you played on the old version, but you get rewards based on how long you've played, but your character data is still deleted.
Okay. That's interesting.
Okay. People say you can transfer. Look, specifically, if you look at the landing page for the shutdown, maybe we can show this. Let me find it. Wait, it's subject to Xsoft, the developer, but it looks like I'm gonna find the page on Papaya Play. But they specifically said that character data will be deleted, or they won't have it. I want to make sure because people are saying you can transfer, but I'm pretty sure the only thing you can transfer is the fact that you played and that you're a veteran.
Yeah, if you go on their website, this is what they say. It says, unfortunately, your game data will not be moved as part of the transfer service. The transfer service will be designated your account as a legacy LaTale account, which will entitle you to special perks and rewards. So you will get some kind of reward, or I bet you'll get like a form avatar or something useless. But yeah, so yeah, it's a fresh start for people if you want to play on Papaya Play.
But more importantly, this is interesting, I think, because OGPlanet was really one of the pioneers of free-to-play in the West. You had Aeria Games, OGPlanet, and like G Potato. These are like the 3 OG, free-to-play companies. And OGPlanet published a lot of games over the years, like a lot of games. We have a publisher profile for them. I'm kind of curious what they had, but now they have literally one game. After LaTale shuts down, the only game they have in service will be Uncharted Waters Online, and that's it. And just some they had all these games in the past. Just take a look. They had Lost Saga, Redstone, BB Tank, Pangea, Zone 4, which is actually still around, Hockey Dash, Albatross 18, Realms of Pangea, ST Gundam Capsule Fighter, Heroes of the Realm, Hiva Colonia Online, which I'm sure nobody remembers, but it was like an anime-inspired game. They had a ton of games, and they're all gone. OGPlanet has one game now, and it's just Uncharted Waters Online.
That's an old game too, and this one's bounced around between publishers for a while as well.
I think rest in pepperoni, OGPlanet. I think the way they're going is they're liquidating or something. I mean,
No, they still got they got the browser game Legend of Honor.
Oh, it's a pay to win.
Did you forget about this? I gotta run Flash. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I forgot about it. I don't really count a lot of those browser games as real games because very often, like Aeria Games publishes like a dozen of those browser games too, but like they just kind of like embed the code and they just like it's not like just their server. It's like a revenue share deal. So like the same browser game is run on like 10 different companies at once, but it's not always their game specifically. But yeah, Aeria Game. I mean, OGPlanet is on the way out, as was Games Campus. Both those companies only have like one game now. I think Games Campus has 2 golfing games and that's it. OGPlanet's got 1 game. But it is, I mean, the good thing is for LaTale players, the game is not dead. Papaya Play is picking up the service and they're actually launching an expansion pack, or not expansion, but a big update for the game soon after it relaunches. That adds over 100 new quests, new legend skills, and other goodies. So, I mean, honestly, what I liked about LaTale is it's the only other, side-scrolling MMORPG that's, I think, still around. You had Wonder King Online and you had Windslayer, and there's also Ghost Online now, I believe.
I think Ghost is still alive, like in Thailand or something.
Yes, it relaunched on Steam through the Thai version, or it's in English now on Steam. But beyond LaTale and Ghost Online, Ghost Online kind of sucks, honestly. LaTale was a fun game because I loved MapleStory and I still play Maple. I was on MapleStory just the other day, all right? Like yesterday I was on MapleStory. So I keep coming back to MapleStory because I think core gameplay is a lot of fun. And LaTale kind of gave you that, similar experience, but different. And if you play a lot of MapleStory, it feels nice to play something that's like it, but different. So LaTale was a good one. And it's good that it's still alive.
Indeed.
Elsword too, but Elsword's a little bit different. I would compare maybe Elsword a little bit more to Dragon Nest or something. And I agree, LaTale was definitely a little clunkier. And the art style, I think, was a little bit worse. I enjoyed the art style in MapleStory a bit more myself.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the League of Legends news? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, this is a big one. I should mention this for sure. League of Legends is actually completely revamping their esports scene in 2018. I mean, I don't play too much League of Legends myself, lately. I played a little bit at the beginning of last season. I climbed to Diamond 2, just like 20 games, like barely any games. I got Diamond 2, and then I just stopped playing. And I felt like I decayed down to gold, the lowest you could possibly decay. So it's the first season in League of Legends I didn't end Diamond because I didn't play. The first time since season 1, basically. But with the news in League of Legends, they're actually revamping their esports scene, and they're moving to a franchise model kind of similar to what Overwatch is doing, and similar to how real sports like the NBA, NFL, and all the real sports handle it. So basically, there's a league now, the LCS League, and instead of qualifying for the LCS, the way they've been doing it for a long time, teams can actually buy into it. So a team puts up $10 million is the price for it. And if you pay that $10 million and you have a team, you have a qualified team, you're in the LCS permanently. You got a guaranteed spot every single season, and it's a lot of money, right? But that money gets used on a bunch of things. It'll help they're gonna be setting up a player association to help pro players be represented better. But they're moving from you to qualify to play to permanent membership, and this is something Overwatch has been trying to push as well. They've been trying to sell like the LAC for $30 million for that franchise, and this is how the NBA works as well. The teams in the NBA are in there permanently, and you stay in there. And the rationale behind it is a lot of the teams basically said, we don't know if we're going to qualify next year for the LCS, right? So we don't want to have the gamer house. We don't want to invest in the team. We don't want to invest in our brand because we don't know if we're going to qualify next year. So this actually eliminates the uncertainty for the teams. Yeah, it's a big benefit for the teams. I mean, I think it's actually a big, giveaway to the teams almost. But they're actually sharing money with Riot Games as well too. So it aligns incentives a bit. All the teams that are members that pay the $10 million up front will share revenue of the esports scene as well. So whatever money that Riot makes off the broadcast rights, all that stuff will be given to the teams as well. Half of that. And
salaries are going to go up a lot. I think it said $75,000 for pros is going to be like the baseline salary, and then on top of that, the teams can give more, and there's going to be like sponsorships and all that. So there's going to be a lot more coming to players, and I think this is essential. I've kind of always written off esports for this reason, because it didn't have the structure that this kind of system has. Now again, this is early days. They just announced it. Nobody's really paid yet. There's a few teams under negotiation, but esports, if it's ever going to be a thing, needs to do this, because here's the problem I always had as an esports viewer. I played a few competitive games. I followed some teams, and every year the team names would just change. Like I remember Dota, like a team named Wings won the international, the major annual tournament. And like I never heard of wings before that. Like, so the problem is when you have to qualify, the pro players just hop around. They keep changing the name of their team, and you can't follow a single team. There are a few exceptions, like Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid. They managed over the years to kind of create a brand, right? But so many teams, and also for League, Team Solo
TSM,
Middle,
CLG,
yeah. But so many times these no-name teams win. They come and go. Every year there's new names, there's new teams. So you need this kind of structure.
Honestly.
It's very disorienting. So if a team has to pay $10 million and they always have the name and the players got to come to them, I think it'd be easier for casual followers to follow the scene and kind of be invested.
It's exceptionally bad how often they change teams. I actually hate it so much. Like literally every year the player shuffle, the team shuffle, new teams, old teams die and go like crazy. I think this will definitely fix that problem, because it's gonna be $10 million to enter for that team. And if you're in that league and you've spent $10 million, you're gonna have an incentive to always be in there because you already spent the $10 million bucks. And what's I think worth mentioning too is I think even though $10 million is a lot of money, right? We're talking about $100 earlier being a lot of money. $10 million is a ginormous sum of money, but you already did TSM and Immortals, 2 teams in League of Legends, are already basically signing up for. They're already in. They're already paying the $10 million bucks. They're already ready to go. I think people and the teams will have no problem raising that money and putting it in because how big League of Legends is.
Yep.
Whereas in comparison to Overwatch, apparently Overwatch is having trouble getting people to sign up for their Overwatch league, where they're asking up to $30 million for like certain spots in the league. But with how big League is, I think $10 million they'll be able to swallow that no problem. A lot of these big teams, they make a tremendous amount of money. And it's actually only $5 million down, and the rest is deferred, meaning you can pay that as you go for like the years on end. So it only costs $5 million up front to get in. And remember, permanent, LCS membership, assuming League of Legends is still big, like 5 years down the line, they're going to more than make their money back on that deal. The only way they lose on that deal is if somehow I think League gets dethroned in the next like year or two. But I think the teams that get in will be extremely valuable.
Yeah,
it's because they get permanent membership in there now. It's like the NBA teams; they keep going up in value. If you ever bought an NBA team, you never lost money.
Exactly.
No matter who you were, you made so much money.
You create equity and scarcity. So the guys who pay $10 million or whatever now, if they see the price of that team license going up every year, they feel more motivated to invest in that sport. And whether it's new facilities, new houses, new computers, whatever. So I do think this is gonna. If this works, again, it remains to be seen whether this is gonna work. LCS, it seems to me like every year they kind of change things up. So. We'll see if this one sticks, but if it does, this is then I have some hope for esports. Until now, esports was a complete joke. It's very niche. It's very it's just Red Bull and like Intel, so sponsors, right? But we'll see it. We'll see it. It's got some chance after this.
Okay, somebody dropped an excellent advice for us in the chat. The MMOs.com LOL team is going to enter the LCS. Okay, we everyone that watched MMOs.com just has to collectively donate our sperm. All right, we donate enough sperm, we get the $10 million. And we get the team in there, all right? We got it, boys. And they'll go up in value, and then we'll all be rich. We've seen a lot of sperm. Good idea or great idea?
Well, I mean, if we've already proven that MMORPG players have no problem spending $1,000 for digital packages, right? So if we can just sell 1,000, okay. So how many viewers do we have? We got about 100, right?
All right.
If you each spent $10,000, which is still less than a complete package in Star Citizen. Okay, if you each spend $10,000, we could buy an MMOs.com League of Legends team for the LCS, boys. And we could just troll. We could literally just pick random viewers and send them to the LCS and lose every year. But they could never take it away from us. They could never take it away from us. Yeah.
You can literally just troll every year. That'd be amazing. You just do the stupidest shit every year.
5 guys just run down mid and just keep feeding.
It's like during the ban phase, who will Team MMOs.com ban next? They're banning nobody? They're letting it run down the timer? Okay. We got the weirdest team comps. We control the shit out of the casters and everything. We gotta read that fine print. See if we can get in there.
Yeah. They might just like refund us and kick us out or something. I don't know. We'll gotta look into that.
Let's do it, boys. The Kickstarter's going up. All right, I want $10,000 from each of you. Sponsor Pornhub, nice. Yeah, could be cool. But I think it's gonna work because this is the model that's worked in NFL, NBA, like all the real sports have done this. There's a reason they've been doing it, and I suspect there's a reason why Blizzard is also moving towards this model, and all of a sudden leagues as well. Because we're seeing all these, real sports, other companies doing this. I think there's some merit to it, and I'm excited. I do watch league games on occasion. I bet on them on occasion, which is a lot of fun. So I'm excited for this. I think it'll be good for the players too. The base salary for pro players is going up, and I think like a lot of the pro players, like I don't want to feel bad for them, right? They're fucking amazing. They're living the dream, right? But unless you're like Dyrus or Double Lift or these big shots, Sumail for Dota, unless you're like the top of the top and you have a massive following, right? Like I don't think a lot of them will make enough money to like retire on or live on, like at all. Like the biggest guys get a crazy amount of the sponsorships and everything, but just a regular pro player isn't gonna make millions off this. And the fact that now he gets a guaranteed salary, that's like higher, like 75 grand or higher, I think it's good for the scene that the little guys are gonna make out well on this.
Speaking of the $1 million, so here's a funny story for me. As a Dota player, I get to brag a little here. League of Legends gets its first $1 million pro, Faker. So over his career, which is over 35 tournaments, Faker has finally racked up 1.047 million in winnings. Okay? And if you read this article, these guys are really salty that they win so little compared to Dota. See, Dota is smart enough to get their users to pay. You know what? Dota is kind of like Star Citizen and Shroud the Avatar and all that stuff, right? Instead of spending money on their prize pool for their tournament every year, they get the players, who obviously have an infinite number of dollars, as these games have proven to us. They get the players to fund it, and every year the players fund it. So last year we got...
I gave you the link.
I'm looking right now. I got $18 million last year. 15 million.
2015 was 18. No. TI 2016 was 20.7 million.
Yeah, and this year, so far it's already at 13 million, and so far it's beating the previous years in the chart here.
What's insane is that the winning team last year got $9.13 million. That's almost $2 million per person on the winning team for TI 2016. That's international for Dota. Whereas Faker, which is indisputably the best League of Legends player, his team won, I think, 3 of the world championships for League of Legends, and he wins all the tournaments in Korea. His team is top tier, and he's only won $1 million in his pro career in terms of winnings.
Yeah,
he's made a lot more through sponsorships, definitely. But if you win one tournament in Dota last year, the biggest tournament, you don't
have to win. You don't have to win. Like, I just brought up a chart here of the top earners, right, of all esports. The first 20 people are Dota players, and then number 28 is Faker with League of Legends. So if you get to the tournament in Dota, you could lose the first round, and you'll probably end up making more money than Faker here. So this is so League of Legends, Riot Games is really stingy. I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
I think they're gonna copy the model that Dota uses. There's absolutely no reason not to copy it. I've been saying this for a while. They did something last year where player buy-ins contribute to the prize pool. I think it was a test run, and they're going to see it in a much bigger scale this year. And there's no reason not to copy it. It's genius, and it's because $90 million of the prize pool was contributed by players, and I think only 25% of purchases get contributed to the prize pool. That means they sold $80 million worth of virtual goods, and only $20 million went into the prize pool. That means Valve made $60 million off the international just selling the compendium and other goodies over there, which is mega smart of them. So it's a win-win for the players and win for the company. And I guess I don't know who the third win is, but it's out there. Somebody won.
I don't know if you mentioned this while I was being smug, but remember, Dota is 10% the size of League, right? It's so much smaller than League, and yet all the top earners are Dota players. So this is really a case of Riot really dropping the ball in terms of competence.
No, I agree. I mean, I do want to emphasize that again for all the people that love Dota. Dota is 10% the size of League. League gets over 100 million monthly active users, and I think Dota gets 20 million, 10 million, maybe less.
Like that.
I'm gonna look right now. Yeah, it's much less, 12 million. So Dota is actually right around 12% the size of League of Legends. League of Legends is the biggest PC game in the world. They did about $1.8 billion in revenue last year, and they're still growing. So it's unbelievable how big League of Legends is. And it's almost embarrassing for the biggest, most successful PC game to get beaten out on the pro scene by Dota 2. And they got to get their shit together.
Indeed.
I enjoy playing League of Legends more, but I love watching Dota. I think Dota is a way more entertaining game to watch on the pro scene. Way more crazy stuff. And I'm looking forward to the international this year so I can make some bets. I'm a degenerate gambler of sorts, so I'm looking forward to making those bets.
Mr. Fester, thank you for the bits. I got some good news to kind of wrap this up, unless you got a big story. So we talk a lot about new MMORPGs here, but the very first MMORPG, Habitat, okay, is actually being relaunched by a gaming museum, and you can play this. You can download it. It's you need a Commodore 64 emulator. Oh, I mean they bundle it together. So all you got to do is download the files on GitHub. And here's the thing though, you need a joystick because the Commodore has a joystick. But if you want to
rebind those keys,
there are programs where you can use a virtual joystick, but you got to like set that up.
I like the video for what Habitat is. People curious. It's actually there's an old 1985 video for like a commercial for explaining what Habitat is.
Yeah.
And actually, yeah, I've seen this video with my brother, and it looks looks pretty charming. I think we should do a fun stream of this maybe one day if we can.
Yeah, we definitely can. Yeah, we definitely can. It was, I believe it's about 31 years old. So I think few people out there would know just how old MMORPGs are. They're older than me, for sure. And when I say MMORPG, I really mean it. You know, this is a persistent world that you have to connect through with your modem. You know, you progress. There's player housing. There's cosmetics. You design different outfits. There's like quests to do, and you can chat with people all over the world. And so this is like a full-fledged MMORPG right here.
I think it's actually the oldest MMORPG on our list right now.
Yes, it is.
I'm chronicling all the oldest MMORPGs from the old article I put up, and yeah, this predates Kingdom of Drakkar by 3 years, which I think is the next oldest MMORPG.
People saying it looks like shit, guys. You got to respect your elders, all right? You know, your grandma probably looks like shit too, but she's still your grandma. You know, you gotta.
Whoa. Fair point. I like what Kalista said. We all know that WoW was the first MMORPG ever. Clearly. WoW was the first video game ever, obviously. All right, guys. Roasted, toasted, burnt. There's actually quite a bit of MMORPGs older than Ultima Online. I think a lot of people view Ultima Online as one of the oldest. It is one of the oldest, but there's a good like 5, 6, 7 games older than Ultima.
Oh, Zen Exile got his first computer in 1988. That was the year I was born. So now I know that he's older than me, at least.
Yeah, we got a few people older than us. We're usually the older group. I'm 27. You're about to level up.
I am. Actually, at exactly this time next week for the podcast, I will be 29 because I am
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be the 14th for me here in Turkey.
All right, we get a birthday celebratory podcast next week for you.
Sounds good. I'm making a little birthday cake picture next to my name.
Nice. Get the birthday party hat on you too.
All right. Stuff. So there it is, guys. If you are interested at all in Habitat, do check it out. And here's a nice little public disclosure, public announcement. This game is brought to you by, this preservation effort is brought to you by the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment, the MADE. So check out their website. They got a lot of cool if you live in Oakland, California or thereabouts, you can actually go visit them. I'm sure it looks like a really cool museum to visit. They got all these old video games like joysticks, old consoles. So if I lived in California, I'd definitely visit. So if you guys live in that area, take some pictures and post it on Discord. I'd be curious what this place is all about.
It's very cool, actually. I kind of want to go there. If we're in the area, we'll drop by.
Definitely, yeah.
I should tweet a picture of this. And actually, let me show you another funny tweet before we wrap it. This might be a after show thing, but that tweet is of a 3rd generation person playing Lucasfilm's Habitat.
Let me see.
Little kid playing. She's like, "What the hell is this game? This game is garbage." Is what she's thinking.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's 100% what she's thinking. She's like, "What the hell is this garbage?" There's no way she's enjoying herself. 0 chance.
I mean, no. If it's like one of her first games, she has no like baseline, so
maybe then.
Yeah.
I want to show one thing before we wrap it up. I thought it was pretty funny. It was on Twitter too. One of the guys we follow is a game analyst, and he looks at this week on Xbox, June 2nd, and look at the like ratios for this new video Xbox puts out. Right? Pretty normal, right? bunch of people watched it, a bunch of people liked it, right?
Okay.
And look at the next tweet that Xbox puts out. They also upload 4 other videos with those titles in below. Like, why is Xbox putting videos on
blacks in gaming?
Look at the dislike ratio. I was like, what is this? Why are they doing that?
Okay, here's a better. Oh, look. It's obviously kind of cheesy PC, right? Stuff. But why you gotta go out of your way to downvote this? Like, brigade it.
I agree. I wouldn't downvote it either, but like, it just seems, I don't know.
All right, this is post talk right here, okay, guys? So
talk,
thanks for watching. Check us out live if you want to hear the PC shit talk next week. Yep, that's it for YouTube.
Thanks for watching YouTube. As always, 4 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Take it easy.
Later, YouTube.